not to be tongue in cheek, but I think everybody is over the fact that diversity is a nice feeling and a nice thing. There are some OEMs where over 40% of their new vehicle sales come from minority consumers. And it didn't happen overnight. A lot of it came from being very intentional in terms of what their dealer body looks like, continuing to work with advertisers, continuing to work with diversity in the staffs of their dealerships. It's a lot of work.
Welcome to The Fuel Line, where we explore all things automotive with a focus on mergers and acquisitions. Hi, my name's Fareed Ahmed. I'm the founder and the CEO of DSMA and your favorite podcast host. Each episode, we connect with influential figures that drive the automotive landscape. Let's shift into gear and get started. Welcome, everybody, to episode 19 of The Fuel Line. Today, I'm joined with somebody that I'm sure you're all going to greatly appreciate perspective. Today, we're going to be talking about building a more diverse future for dealership ownership in the automotive retail world. And we're going to be talking to Perry Watson IV. Let me just introduce you a little bit to Perry. For more than 46 years, the NADA, a Minority Automobile Dealers Association, has been driving force in advancing minority dealer ownership, championing diversity across the automotive industry, and creating pathway for leadership. As the organization's president, Perry Watson IV is leading that mission at a pivotal moment, helping shape a more inclusive, innovative, and sustainable future for the automotive retail world. Perry brings more than 3 decades of automotive leadership experience. Prior to becoming the president of the NAMAD, he served as general manager and part owner of Lexus, where his dealership earned national recognition for sales performance, customer satisfaction, and operational excellence. Throughout his career, Perry has built a reputation for developing high-performing teams, strengthening dealership relationships, and championing opportunities that help businesses and communities thrive. Today, Perry continues to lead NAMAD's vision of expanding dealership ownership, supporting diverse entrepreneurship, and ensuring the next generation of automotive leaders has the opportunity to succeed. Perry, welcome to the show. We're excited to have you with us.
Fareed, thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with one of our operational excellence partners. And again, thank you all so much for your support in NAMAD. We really appreciate you.
We're proud supporters of NAMAD and fully behind its initiative. So, Perry, let me just jump into the first question. There's some viewers that we have. We have over 12,000 followers on some of our platforms, and some of them are not familiar with NAMAD and what its mission is. Can you explain a little bit more about that as far as what's the organization's main goal?
Absolutely. So, NAMAD, the National Association of Minority Automobile Dealers, was formed in 1980. And if you could take your mind back to 1980, just remember Duran Duran was on the top of the music chart, Michael Jackson, Prince, Madonna.
Yes.
But at the same time, when you look at inclusive economics, we saw in the off in the distance that minority consumers were going to really significantly increase in the marketplace, and there really weren't hardly any minority dealers. And so I can't take credit for it, but our founders, Reverend Jesse Jackson, Bill Shack, Mel Farr Sr., Nate Conyers, and several others had the vision to form NAMAD. And then the early years of leadership with the likes of Martin Kumba as well as Jay Park helped us well establish the role, and Sheila, who was also the initial president. And ultimately this thing grew and grew and grew because everybody started to understand hey, minority consumers buy cars. And now, fast forward, the data showed us that in 2023, 33% of all new vehicles were purchased by minority consumers.
Wow.
33%. So the reason why NAMAD exists is to scream from the rooftops that inclusive economics is not just good for society, it's absolutely the only way to do business. So we're very proud of our mission, and we invite your audience and all others to come and understand the benefits of inclusive economics and to join us in this relentless prioritization to make sure that everybody is as successful as they possibly can, including those communities that our dealers serve.
Yeah, fantastic, Perry. Thank you. Double barrel question. Since becoming the president, what has been your biggest priority in leading NAMAD? And what progress are you most proud of that you've accomplished or you feel your organization has accomplished so far?
Yeah, well, first of all, I want everyone to know, especially in your audience, when I started the job, I had hair. Um, I don't now, so you figure the rest out. But anyway, so we're really focused on five main priorities. The first is retention of our current NAMAD dealers, retention of our partners, retention of our members. That is our first priority. The second is expansion. We're heavily involved in making sure that our dealer owners that want to expand their footprint
Mm,
succeed in doing so and have the opportunities to do that, as well as those who want to become dealers. So, which cascades me right into our third pillar, which is training. Um, we'll come back to it, but we recently launched the NAMAD Dealer Ownership Academy, where we're
oh,
training.
fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. We're training up the next generation of dealers, and that's going extremely well. We have some amazing partners that are involved in that: Ally Bank, Honda, Cox Automotive, Dynatron, NCM, NADA, and so many more. And
Wow,
several
brilliant.
OEMs are looking and coming on board to support us in our third iteration of the class starting this fall. But the last two really is making sure that we are advocates. So we do a lot of support for legislative and regulatory work for our members. And then last is awareness. That's why I'm here for Reed, is to make sure that people know about NAMAD and about the amazing operational excellence partners like yourself that are out there doing this amazing work.
Well, so then let me ask you this. What does meaningful diversity in dealership ownership look like today beyond simply increasing representation?
So, one of the things that we have to realize with all entrepreneurship, including dealership entrepreneurship, is those businesses are really a giving tree. When you think about how much, I believe the last statistics I saw is that what the American economy, US economy, is made up of 80 something percent small business, right?
Yes.
So we really fuel the US. The difference with the NAMAD members or dealers is that we cover the general marketplace. So, we give to the Boy Scouts of America and the Girl Scouts of
Good.
America, but we
Good.
also get into the nooks and the crannies of our community as well. So oftentimes the scholarships that help that, minority young woman or young man get to the next level of their career comes from the likes of many of our dealers. And so we really believe that meaningful diversity has to include ownership as well. And I think that what it does is it creates a halo effect for not only the dealerships, but the brands, right? People remember, they're like, oh, hey, this particular brand was a part of my son or my daughter's softball league, right?
Right.
And then they come and buy cars, and we see that working day in and day out, especially with minority consumers who, by the way, tend to be a little bit more loyal than the general population, which
Sure.
is exactly what OEMs and dealers want.
Yeah, good. So let's turn gears a little bit about the economy and the uncertainty. I believe that automobile dealers are the greatest entrepreneurs in the world. They've gone through so many ups and downs in the economy, but today we've got changing consumer expectations, rapid industry transformation. What do you think
Mhm.
will separate or does separate the dealers that continue to grow through all of these struggles and to adapt?
So, I think that the owners that understand the true difference between what a dealer does and what a general manager does will win the day. And what do I mean by that, Fareed?
Yeah,
I
please.
mean
Right.
that a dealer, their job is to see the icebergs that may be 2, 3, 4 years ahead. So they need to be out there looking at the marketplace. I just heard the story again yesterday at church about Blockbuster and Netflix, right? Blockbuster
Yes.
had a chance to buy Netflix and they snoozed. And, they had no reason because they were making money. They had all these
Sure.
stores but you know what? In 10 years, they were extinct. And so dealers, their job is to operate at 30,000 feet and to really see the marketplace. How does AI play out 10 years from now?
Yes.
How do EVs, do they go away and come back? I mean, so dealers, that is their role. When it comes to general managers, they're the operational excellence partners. So they have to understand the changing consumers' expectations and they have to understand and adapt at the dealer level. This is the
Yes.
first time that you're seeing, I believe it's what, 3 to 4 generations in the
Yes.
workplace. And Fareed, they're all managed differently, right? It's a science. And so
Yes.
our general managers, they have to be very well versed in emotional intelligence, situational management. So those are the dealers that I think will adapt and win in the marketplace
Yes.
moving forward.
So, to about looking ahead, let's talk about NAMAD again. And what role is NAMAD playing in shaping the future of the automotive retail and dealership ownership? What are the goals there about or not reshaping, sorry, shaping the retail ownership structure?
Yeah, so we want to be at the forefront of
Okay.
leading new capital models and developing new capital models for not just our dealers, for all dealers, working with the banks, working with the brokers, working with all of those individuals to come up with models that make sense. We both know that the price to get into the dealership business continues to escalate.
Yes.
And at some point, we have to say, how can we do this so that that general manager that is an amazing operator, she wants an opportunity, but she may not have all of the capital, right? So how do we plug her into a structure that allows her to one day, have significant ownership, if not, 51% ownership?
Yes.
And that's going to take a lot of work for Reed. At the OEM level, we're having that conversation as well. But that is what we wake up every day and have a relentless prioritization on in terms of how do we get to that level? Because once that happens, we think this will continue to help us fuel and grow and catch up with the reflection of society's diversity.
And do you feel the banks and the manufacturers are on the same page as NAMAD?
I really, really believe they are.
Good.
I spend most of my day talking to them, and I can tell you they see what we see. Um, I, not to be, tongue in cheek, but
Yes.
I think everybody is over the fact that diversity is a nice feeling and a nice thing. There are some OEMs where over 40% of their new vehicle sales come from minority consumers.
Crazy.
and it didn't happen overnight. A lot of it came from being very intentional in terms of what their dealer body looks like,
Mm.
continuing to work with advertisers,
Yes.
continuing to work with diversity in the staffs of their dealerships.
Mm.
This is it's a lot of work, but the interestingly enough, the OEMs that are sort of at the top in terms of market share, this is what they do. And we are very much a part of their partnership. And I am happy to report that all of the OEMs, I think, are trying to move in that direction. They're at different stages, but we try to make it very easy. Number one, by supplying the best dealers in the world. Shout out to all the name ad dealers. Um, and secondly, by creating the opportunity for the OEMs and the those dealers to get together and dealer candidates at the NAMAD conference and throughout the year. So, we're excited about the role that we're going to play and continue to play in the industry.
Yeah, good for you. So, Perry, listen, we don't know much about you. So, you've had 3 decades in this industry. Maybe you could tell us a little about you personally, professionally. How would you introduce yourself, say, at a party?
Well, the first thing I would say is my name is Perry Watson the fourth, and before you ask, yes, I have Perry Josiah Watson the fifth as a son.
Oh,
So
great.
I did my job, and luckily, he's a very bright young man. So I have my grandfather, my great grandfather, and all those guys to thank, including my father.
Amazing.
But
Amazing.
he also has my wife's brain, so he's way smarter than I ever could be. Um, I'm I'm a I would say, the first thing is I'm a man of faith. My journey has been a crazy journey, and one day when I write my book, you guys are gonna say this can't be true.
Really?
Um,
I can't wait to read it.
we'll get into that one day for real, but I didn't start out in the automotive business, and to your audience, I would say, hey, if you're looking for a career, I actually graduated from Michigan State, and I was in the pharmaceutical industry with Eli Lilly and Company.
No
And
way.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, but I have to tell you this story real briefly.
Yes.
So I'm very successful my first year. My manager comes to me and says, Perry, hey, listen, I would like you to uh, take over this territory with this particular partner. And you know what that means, Fareed, in
Yes.
sales. It means that that territory is not performing. So, so I go to this one doctor's office. He's not writing any of our product. I go and I talk to him because I noticed that most of his patients were of Middle Eastern descent. So I asked him one question, Fareed. I said, hey, would it help if we put our patient information in Arabic? He talked to me for 30 minutes. I go to my manager. I said, make it happen. We ended up going to President's Club because he became our number one writer. Now,
No way.
I tell you that story to say that when it comes to inclusive economics, I have lived this at the pharmaceutical level. The same thing happened in our dealership. Guess what happened, Fareed?
What?
I
Tell me.
hired, I hired a female service writer, female sales consultant. 50% of my customers became female.
Wow.
You know why? Because we all want to see ourselves
Yes.
in businesses, and we also want to know that it's a safe place for us to do business. And the way that we convey that is by ownership and representation. So I've been involved with NAMED for a very long time. Been involved with the NAMED Next Gen program, and I can tell you it's an amazing organization full of amazing people, great mentors, great partners such as yourself and your company. And I'm just very proud to
Yeah, good for
represent
you.
NAMED as the president. So I guess that's my elevator speech for you.
Lovely. So in 6 weeks, nearly 6 weeks, you've got your next your 46th annual NAMAD conference coming up. What will people expect to see this conference? And tell me, how do people get involved if people want to? Um, come to NAMAD and
Yeah.
experience what an amazing conference it is, how do they do that?
So the first thing I would say is you can go to namad.org. And if you look to, I believe it's the left hand side of the website, you can find out everything about the conference. But let me tell you about this conference. We've been doing it for 46 years,
Wow.
and we love to tell these amazing stories of inclusive economics. One of our members was given an opportunity. He went into a market, doubled the sales volume in 2 years. And why did he do that? Well, he went in, he sold to the general public, but he got in the nooks and crannies of those minority communities, and all of a sudden just completely blew away his sales numbers. And
Wow.
so we're going to meet dealers like that. We have Richard Montanez, who is
Really?
going to be our luncheon speaker. I
Fantastic.
absolutely love this guy.
Yes, so do
This
I.
guy started as a janitor at PepsiCo
Crazy.
and ended
Crazy.
up, I mean, at Frito Lay, I believe it was, and then ended up becoming the VP. He and his team created Flaming Hot Cheetos, which absolutely is the like textbook case for inclusive economics. So we're excited to have him
Oh, fantastic.
on the NAMAD stage. We're also going to honor our OEMs that are doing an amazing job selling cars, but also selling cars into our communities with the Diversity Volume Leadership Awards. We're going to honor some of the titans in our not just our community, but in the industry. We'll be
That's
presenting
great.
Lifetime Achievement Awards, Woman of the Year. And then, to top it all off, on the last day, we have the dealer candidate one on ones where, if you're interested in owning a dealership, you get a chance to sit down with the OEM executives and talk about why you should be given that opportunity and
I
what they
think
offer.
that is
Yeah.
fantastic strategy.
Absolutely. Yep.
Fantastic.
Oh, and Fareed, we're
Yes, sir.
graduating our first and our second class of the NAMAD Dealer Ownership Academy.
Wow.
These are individuals who have gone through our year-long training to learn how to become an automotive dealer. So we're excited about that as well.
And can I enroll if I wanted to on your website for that as well, Perry?
So you got to become a member. And
Okay.
then when you become a member, we send out a communication to let you know that the
Got,
class is open and you can
got it.
apply.
Got it.
So go to namad.org, become a member, and you will get all of our communications. It's an amazing program. We actually put you through, I would say, probably one of the tougher, um, I guess, simulations. You have to
Right?
make over 300 decisions. You virtually run a dealership multiple
That
times.
is fantastic.
Absolutely, and
Fantastic.
keep in mind that again, we have all of these great operational excellence partners that come in and teach you sort of best practices. So it's
Yes.
an amazing program.
Wow. So, just for the audience, we'd love to invite you to join us at the 46th annual conference of NAMADS taking place on August the 11th to the 14th in Miami, which is about 6 weeks away. So, get enrolled
Yeah,
quick. As
yeah,
proud partners of NAMAD, that we strongly believe and advocate for diversity across the automotive industry. This world is changing, and I think our industry should reflect that change. And I've got to tell you, this is one of our favorite conferences. It brings together minority dealer principals, OEM leaders, industry partners to have real conversations about dealership ownership, capital access, the future of representing the automotive retail world, creating a space for meaningful dialogue on the structural shift and shape of the industry. Fantastic network opportunity. You're going to meet some of the most motivated and talented dealers in our industry. DSMA will be there. We'd love the opportunity to meet you. We have a booth there, and maybe we can discuss a little bit about what's happening in the M&A world and the dealership growth, and explore shaping new opportunities coming down the line. Perry, any final comment you would like to make to our audience that would inspire everybody?
listen, all I would say to you is that it takes all of us. The theme for this year's conference is in concert. So we just want to thank you guys again for your support. We can't do this without you. We can't do this without the OEMs, the dealer candidates. So to your audience, I just want to say keep listening to the Fuel Line and get to the NAMAD conference. We appreciate
Thank,
you very much.
thank, thank you, Perry. This is the Fuel Line. We'll bring the best of the automotive industry for you to learn from and experience. Join us at NAMAD, August the 11th to the 14th in Miami. It's going to be a blast. They are the most gracious hosts in the world, but they bring value, and it's so lacking in the industry today. So, Perry, I'm going to say thank you again and again and again for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us, and we're very proud to be members of NAMAD.
Thank you so much, Fareed. Have a great day.
Have a great day, sir. Thank you.